Our journey began with Baskin-Robbins 38 years ago. The first day we opened our store, we were green. We didn't know what we were doing.
We were vanilla.
We opened that first day. We had a lot of clown cones in the
whole-
party case,
half
and we
the
had a
party.
lot of pies.
And chili burgers.
And we look at the picture and we think like, boy, have we come a long way.
We ate in the back room. We just didn't come home. We opened and we closed, and we just never left.
But we learned that you got to get away from your business too. You got to entrust it to somebody.
Yeah.
You know, we strive to make sure that prospective employees that come in and talk to us, they kind of have to be like us because they represent us. So if they don't have the same outgoing personality that we do, if they can't get along with the customers the way we do, then they're not really for us. But what we've noticed, I think, the most with the employees is they take a personal pride in the store. In 2012, we were the first crew of the year, so I think we're doing something right with our crew, and I think it shows. We thought, well, we're doing good with one store, so we decided to go into the second store, which we kept for 12 years. We worked both stores. We decided after that 12 years that it was time to part with the second store because we wanted to see what we could do within the first store, which was our baby store. And we decided to go into the delivery business. We've done bar mitzvahs, bat mitzvahs, weddings, funerals, retirement parties, Christmas parties, you name it, we've done it all. And you know, I think the largest one we ever did was for a business that had 800 employees, and we did a Sunday bar setup. The catering business in 1987 was kind of my idea.
It was her idea.
I thought, well, you know, maybe we'll go outside the four walls of the store and see what we could do. Chatsworth was pretty industrial at the time, and we thought, gee, there's people sitting in offices that are probably dying for ice cream in the afternoon, and maybe they can't get away because they're too busy. So I went around, we drove around town, and I probably wrote down about 50 to 100 businesses, and then I went home, and I constructed a letter, and I sent it out and invited them, and before you knew it, calls were coming in, ordering 20 things at a time, 30 things at a time, and we found that there was a whole other aspect to our business that we had never considered that was a moneymaker for us. The thing is there's so many opportunities out there, but you have to go look for them. You know, they're not going to land in your lap all the time. Many people don't know about how quarterback crunch really came to be, but the truth is, and then I'll let him tell you his version of it, but the truth is we were going through training and we were talking about how flavors were invented and how people came up with things, and all of a sudden I just had this idea.
If no one knows this, the Los Angeles Rams did acquire Joe Namath. I came home and I was so excited. I said, Barb, the next game we're going to see Joe Namath. My hero, Joe Namath. We went out to the Coliseum. We saw Joe Namath. Maybe the second or third play of the game, the whole defensive line is on top of Joe Namath. I mean, he's just crushed. On the way home from the Coliseum, on a little pad, what you see on the quarterback crunch poster, whole bunch of defensive players on the top of the quarterback. Quarterback was Joe Namath, holding up a ice cream cone, and above, coming out of his mouth in a little circle, was ask for a teaspoon. And that's how far back the teaspoon was important. She did the artwork, the whole thing, and then Barbara submitted it to Baskin-Robbins, the recipe, vanilla ice cream with chocolate-covered Rice Krispies, which was her favorite, with a caramel ribbon. And then Irv Robbins himself signed our original one here and gave it to her, and a football, all autographed. So that's how that really was, because of Joe Namath becoming a Los Angeles Ram, even for one half of a game.
I've had football players come in the store that
they want her
it
autograph.
was their favorite flavor. I've had to autograph somebody's arm. I've had to autograph a bag. You know, that's my one claim of fame I'm going to take with me.
Yep. Barbara's got quarterback crunch.
You know, in the early days, Irv Robbins would stop in the store. He gave us some words of advice on how to run a successful business.
Oh, he was such a gentle man, spoke very quiet. He sat in the store with me one day for the longest time, and my manager at the time sold cake. and she did a great job. The customer walked out, and he called the girl over, and he said to her, "Did you just sell that? I just saw how you sold that cake," or something like that. And she said, "Yes. Did you sell that cake to one customer?" And she said, "Mm-hmm." And he says, "You're sure it was one customer?" And she said, "Yes, it was just one customer." And he said, "No, it was 12 customers because the cake served 12 people." And he says, "That's why you did a beautiful job on the sale. The cake was beautiful. You're going to get repeat business from those people sitting around at the table now." And that is something that, we've always remembered over the years.
We were lucky that we were back when he was around. We're going back 5 decades that we've been in this business, starting in the 70s. And when we first got there, the people that work for us, say they're 16, they're in their mid-50s now. And we've kept track of them over the years, and it's bittersweet, this whole retirement thing, because they don't want us to go. So much so that 5 of them who were with us from the first day want to be with us on our last day. So they're going to come on our last day, and they want to get behind the counter and scoop, and that's pretty much all they can do because we didn't have blasts or things like that then. But they're going to come back, and we just have kept touch over the years. The most rewarding thing was when a crew member will come back to you and say, I just want to thank you.
Our staff is our family. We have our big Christmas parties here. Our present staff comes over, and we have a great time every year.
We have breakfasts in the store because it's kind of hard to get everybody together for, party when somebody'd have to work. So we've always kind of had breakfast parties. Another most memorable experience I'll walk away with was last year being honored as Operator of the Year. It's something when you know what you're doing and you're putting everything you've got into it, but there's nothing nicer than somebody else recognizing your efforts. And leaving with Operator of the Year award is leaving on a high. And I think that kind of all, led into this retirement. It's when were we going to leave? We were going to leave 4 years ago, and that didn't happen. Then we were going to leave 3 years ago, and that didn't happen. And we keep saying, okay, maybe 1 more year. Okay, maybe 2 more years. We just had our best year.
Record year.
And
unbelievable record year.
It's
and still, it's going to be next year.
And
what a
just
start
what this is starting off to be, I think this year will be even better than last year. So it's always nice to go out on the high. We've owned this store for 38 years. We've been married for 42. So there was only 4 years that we weren't involved working side by side in this business. And it's going to be very hard to leave this business. Baskin-Robbins, I'm sure, will always be a second family to us. I know we will be welcome back when we come to visit or we go see the franchisees in our area that we've grown very close to. So it's going to be very hard to walk away, but we've had 30 wonderful years plus 7. And we just want to wish everybody the best of luck, all our fellow franchisees. We're available if anyone ever wants to pick our brains. Maybe we've done something that you're thinking about doing, and if we can ever be of any help to anybody, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We don't want to go that far away from this brand.
Get that 30 wonderful feeling. 31 flavors and more at your
30 wonderful.
30 wonderful, really wonderful Baskin-Robbins ice cream store. Yes! I'm proud of my Baskin-Robbins ice cream jingle.